Hello, friends. So, in the past, you have heard me speak about vagal stimulation and how vagal activation creates the increases the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system for self-regulation, healing, homeostasis. The vagus nerve is also referred to as the rest, rejuvenate, and digest nerve. So today I want to share with you a very simple technique for activating the vagus nerve. Okay, so smile with me right now. Smile with your eyes and smile with your face. So smiling apparently has several biological consequences that positively impact health and well-being. It triggers the release of mood-enhancing hormones such as dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, which can reduce stress and anxiety, lower blood pressure, and improve overall mood. Smiling can also boost the immune system as it reduces stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Additionally, smiling is linked to longer lifespan and increased happiness, as it can create a feedback loop that enhances feelings of joy and contentment. So then I did some further research going through search engines and asked for references linking smiling with longevity. There is a link between smiling and longevity. Studies have shown that genuine smiles, such as Duchenne smiles, are associated with longer lifespan. Research involving Major League Baseball players found that those with Duchenne smiles in their photos were half as likely to die in a given year compared to non-smilers, suggesting a longevity advantage. Additionally, smiling is linked to optimism, which is associated with a lower risk of early death and a longer lifespan. So what is this Duchenne smile? Well, here are some photos of Duchenne smiles. Okay, a Duchenne smile differs from other types of smiles by involving both the zygomatic major muscle, which is here, which lifts the corners of the mouth, and the orbicularis oculi muscle, this muscle around, which causes the eyes to crinkle and form crow's feet. Once again, here are some examples. Okay, this combination makes the Duchenne smile a genuine expression of happiness or enjoyment, unlike non-Duchenne or polite smiles that do not engage the eye muscles and may not reflect true positive emotions. Then I went a little bit more on search and asked various search engines, how many facial muscles do we have and how many emotions are expressed through them? The human face has around 43 muscles. It has 43 muscles, which are primarily responsible for facial expressions like smiling and frowning. These muscles are controlled by the facial nerve and allow for a wide range of emotional responses. The exact number of emotions expressed through these muscles can vary, but there are over 100. So 43 muscles, over 100 emotions, such as happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, etc. Finally, does smiling activate the vagus nerve? Yes, smiling can activate the vagus nerve. The act of smiling engages facial muscles that stimulate the vagus nerve, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. This activation can lead to feelings of relaxation and well-being, as well as a decrease in heart rate and blood pressure. And smiling activates the vagus nerve by engaging facial muscles that are connected with it. When you smile, these muscles stimulate the vagus nerve, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. This activation can lead to a decrease in heart rate, blood pressure, promoting relaxation and well-being. Studies have shown that even a non-genuine smile can increase vagal tone, suggesting beneficial effects on the body, such as reduced stress and enhanced emotional regulation. Okay, and this, of course, if you can measure your vagal tone by looking at heart rate variability. So, if you wear an Apple Watch or a ring or an ultra-human ring, it also tells you your vagal tone by looking at heart rate variability. Common metrics include the root mean square of successive differences, RMSSD, and high frequency power in the frequency domain. These measurements can be taken using devices that record the electrocardiogram signals. It's important to note that HRV is now widely accepted as a good measure of relaxation. So there's much more research that shows that smiling also improves mental health, impacts our immune system, and when you smile, you can trigger the release of neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, which also act as immunomodulators. Any diseases that smile is known to help prevent, well, although not directly linked to preventing specific diseases, smiling can lower stress levels, which is associated with a decreased risk of stress-related illnesses such as heart disease and hypertension. So there you are, and then there are all these wonderful diagrams that show the feedback loops associated with smiling. So I know some Buddhist monks regularly close their eyes and imagine that they're smiling in every cell of their body, not just the face. Even the hair follicles are smiling, the nose is smiling, the eyes are smiling, the heart is smiling, the lungs are smiling, the abdomen is smiling, the fingernails are smiling, and even the hair follicles are smiling, but even the genitalia are smiling. Try it out, my friends, and make that your make smiling your default mechanism in every greeting. And soon the feedback loops, the facial muscles will feed to the brain feeds back to the facial muscles, and you will have a long and healthy life, and also practice gratitude. And now you have a precise mechanism for self-regulation and healing. I hope this helps. And by the way, you can have conversations with my digital twin, digitaldeepak.ai, and Digital Dharma, how to use artificial intelligence to enhance personal well-being and spiritual intelligence, is also available now.